Hey, it's Kurt.
And it's Julia. Yeah, I talked to Mandy and I said, hey, we need to get together with Kurt. I gotta be in a group with him so I can get to know him better.
I didn't think that she was interested yet. I thought that at best, we were again maybe going to be establishing some type of a rapport and friendship, maybe working out in service. I didn't know that she was really interested in me.
And she's like, okay, well, let's get a group today. Because it was a Sunday, I talked to her. And she's like, let's get a group together today and go on a hike. And I'm like, well, okay.
I had gotten a call from Trevor on the answering machine. It said that there was going to be a hike planned at Holzinger.
In order to get Kurt to come, she told her husband, Trevor, to call Kurt and ask him if he'll come.
That I'm welcome to come, and then Trevor said, I probably won't be there though. And then he sounded kind of flustered or just kind of awkward when he was saying it. I think there might be something happening.
And then Trevor proceeded to tell Kurt, well, I don't know if I'm going to really make it on the hike or not, but hopefully I'll see you. So it was like, what?
I pulled up, and then I saw Julia, and I was like, oh my gosh. They're trying to set us up. I walked up, played it cool, I downplayed it and said, hello, how's it going? And then I remember her saying, hi, Kurt.
He says he had a clue, but he doesn't have a clue. The only time he said, oh, the clue was when we were at A&W and there was no other seat open except for the one next to me and you sat down next to me. I knew instantly that you liked me. And I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense.
But I did think it was kind of awkward or interesting that she sat right next to me at A&W.
But now thinking about it, I was always trying to avoid him, so maybe he did have... Maybe he was right then. He was very quiet, kind of awkward.
I think quietly confident she appeared.
And all the conversations just never went anywhere.
She was sitting with your brother Jason.
I do not remember.
We were in the left, near the front row in the Kingdom Hall on the left side.
Kurt remembers a lot more than I do.
She was sitting in front of me and came down to the Watchtower study. She somehow knew that I didn't have one. She turned and kind of looked at me in the corner of her eye, and then she turned again, and then she gave me her Watchtower. What are you gonna say if you guys get into a conversation? It was cold, and I said, well, it was quite a wake-up call then, huh? And then she said, yeah, it was kind of a wake-up call.
And all I could think of is, what's up with his hair?
But what I meant to say was, yeah, quite a climate change.
It was like pouffanty. This is pouffant. It was never a flow of, talking and getting together. It was always awkward and weird and embarrassing.
And I knew that she had a pretty big support system around her, and I was afraid that be like, okay, what does this guy think he's trying to pull a fast one over us? It was kind of, okay, well, what's something that's really non-threatening that might be fun for them, whether or not they've done it before?
That day was very interesting. Yeah.
It was kind of nerve-wracking. I was the first one there, and I was kind of climbing with other people because you guys hadn't shown up yet. I was all decked out in a tank top and shorts and kind of taking it really seriously, and then I think you guys all showed up with jeans, and I was like, oh, okay. All right.
So the main thing is, as I remember, is Kurt and his clothing. The main thing I remember. But also that he wore his brown leather jacket.
So I was trying to be calm and relaxed about it.
He had that, his tight pants. Then, when we got there, he decided to change out of his pants into these shorts. They were short shorts. You had to pick a belay, and right away, I claimed Jamie.
Interesting part was I kept climbing with John the whole time. So anyway,
Kurt, apparently, is what I heard. He wanted to be my belay. Is that right? Is that how you say it? Because me and John had a feeling. We kind of talked about it. We ended up going to a restaurant with Gina and Kennard. And then I remember it being very loud in there and not being able to hear anything or anyone.
And the place was packed. If you guys remember, they had live music. And then we were so well set up at a long table with maybe two PV speakers facing right on top of us. While these old men sang Chris Isaak's Wicked Game.
He wanted to sit next to me, but I made sure that I sat completely away from him.
And I'm sitting at the head of the table, and Julia's on the far right, I believe. Everyone's trying to talk and across from the table and talk like this and get information, and then I'm just sitting there eating my food, and I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is another failed attempt to try and have any kind of dialogue with your family.
Wow, he really did try different times. It was after your graduation party. We ended up at Dad's house, and it was like 2:30. I mean, it was like early morning. You were opening your presents, and we were talking, and then all of a sudden, you stopped and you're like, Julia? I think this is for you because it says, Dear Julia. I think it's from Kurt. Like, what? No way. And then Jenny was like, wait, who's Kurt?
Maybe if you just wrote her a letter and gave her some things of yours, that might kind of leave her with sort of a good impression of you. I was thinking I could give her a wristwatch of mine, and it had like a timer on it.
I had to even re-ask him what was in the box.
Mechanical pencil and a pen for service work, and then a flashlight that doubled as a window punch.
It was like weird items.
In the event that she's got to save somebody or save herself. So.
One was a pencil. One was I want to say a ring compass.
G.I. Joe compass ring.
One was a watch, which I thought was broken, but it actually was solar activated and pretty expensive, actually. He wrote the letter on like a map. So the content was basically, hi, this is Kurt. You are family orientated. I'm family orientated. I like and I see that you hang out with your nieces and nephews. So do I. We're very similar in a lot of ways. Can you keep in contact with me even though I know you're leaving, some kind of like correspondence or whatever.
I told her, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk very much. I just wanted you to know that I really appreciate and respect the way that you take care of your family. She was taking care of Gavin quite a bit at the book studies, while Jordan had Grady. Wanted to let her know that that's something that's really important to me as family, and hope that these things serve you well and stuff like that. I didn't give it to her, obviously, because I didn't want to put her on the spot, so I instead set it on the back steps of John's house and told him there's going to be a package and a gift. And again, I was afraid of her reaction and really, really nervous, because I was afraid either she thought it was really weird and really kind of creepy, or maybe she did like it, and now what?
Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't want to start anything.
I kind of didn't get any sort of a response. Really kind of made me feel about this tall.
So I never responded to the letter, because I was just trying to avoid him, because I didn't know what to say. I don't remember this, but he says to me that he came up to me and said something about, did you receive the gift, or did you get something, or I don't know. I can't really remember.
Walked over and said, sorry if I put you on the spot with the gifts or whatever, but I just said I'm glad I got to meet you, and take care and have a safe trip.
I didn't want to, I don't know, maybe even give him some slight hope of anything, because I knew I wasn't going to come back to Minnesota.
Julia came up quite often on my mind. It was sort of this frustration, what could you have done better, what could you have done differently?
Because I was just trying to avoid him, because I didn't know what to say. Oh, I never really addressed anything with him. Hopefully it's not awkward. I don't know if he will talk to me.
What was going through my mind was, you are going to totally downplay the fact that she is here and not try to let her know that you're really glad to see her. Oh, that day, yeah.
Well, it was another one of those awkward occurrences with Kurt. Ended up going out in service. It was me, Jamie, and Jordan.
I showed up a little bit late.
So for the meeting, of course, we were late. Than everyone else.
Service groups had already been made.
Of course, I'm not all the way healed yet.
Jim Thompson came up.
He saw Kurt and said, "Oh, Kurt, why don't you work with these three ladies?"
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, great. Yay. I haven't addressed anything with him, so this is gonna be fun.
I'm like, okay. Again, playing it cool, trying to, it's really cool that I'm going out with them, but at the same time, I don't know what I'm gonna say, because I've had, no contact with all three of them, and I don't know how they feel about me. But Jim says, so, this is gonna be great. It's just gonna be great. You're gonna have an opportunity to work out in service with these three beautiful women. And then I'm just kind of like, that is one way to put it.
Jordan was driving, I was up front, Jamie was in the back, and then Kurt was behind me. And I purposely did it that way so that way I didn't have to sit next to him. Kurt gets in the car, and then the first thing Jordan says to him is, "So Kurt, where are we going?"
I didn't have my service territory with me. I said that we'd need to go back to my apartment and grab it.
I guess I have a territory.
We stopped at Starbucks, and then you guys used the restroom.
They didn't know what he was thinking or how he was feeling.
Which I cleverly thought that this is their way of getting together and talking about how odd and awkward it is being out in service with me while I'm sitting waiting for you guys to come out.
I think he was very intimidated.
The service territory was in Waitoka, which of course I didn't have a very good sense of direction, so we kind of went way out of the territory.
So then Jamie realized that we weren't in the correct territory either.
Completely out of the territory.
She proceeded to take the map away from Kurt and tell us that we were in the wrong territory altogether.
I think we need to go back because we're totally not where we should be.
And that we needed to go basically on the other side of town to work the correct territory.
And I think it was sort of this rain sleet that day. Jordan and Julia for sure had kind of high heel boots on. Not a lot of traction. All the decks and walkways to get up to the doors were pretty frozen. And I think Jordan almost slipped. She and I went to, I think, one door in particular.
He was trying to talk to me again about my back.
The conversation was minimal at best.
And then also he tried to talk about his work and my work and how similar they were.
She was really brief. I don't know if she was really nervous, but it was during the memorial campaign. My interpretation was that she wanted to get back into the car because I was not the person that she wanted to be out in service with.
We took one last door.
I had left my tracks completely exposed and with nothing to kind of weigh them down.
Jamie and Kurt were getting out at the same time, opened the doors, and all the invitations that they had went flying into the yard.
And so we've got these in bushes and sobbing wet on the ground.
What is going on?
They're going under the car.
Oh my word, I'm not with them.
So I'm hurrying and I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So
Like, I'm so embarrassed. Oh my word. I have no idea what he was thinking.
I don't know, there's some hidden message of maybe you shouldn't push your luck and try to have any more occurrences.
I have no clue. Maybe he was embarrassed?
Very awkward. I went up to use the drinking fountain, and that was all I was going to do. I knew Julia was there because I did see her, and then I was kind of faced with a lot of people to kind of traverse and get over to the drinking fountain. And then Tori says, "Where are you headed?" And I'm like, "To the drinking fountain." My thought was, she thinks you're wanting to get as close as possible to Julia and say hello.
But you were.
No, I was wanting to get to the drinking fountain. And then I talked to my mom about Tori's statement after, and I was like, why does she think that I'm trying to get to Julia all the time? Everyone thinks that I'm trying to get to Julia all the time.
Because you were.
I was just wanting to get to the drinking fountain. I was wondering, okay, did we get put in this study group together because people are trying to keep an eye on me? Jordan was, I think she was a little bit late to meeting. She came in with Grady. They sat right in front of me. Grady just kind of looked at me and then started smiling. He started saying, and I'm pretty sure this is what it sounded like anyway. It's him, it's him. And then Jordan's like, shh, 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 shh. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, everyone knows that I'm this weirdo and even Grady knows it, so. And everyone was looking at me, and again, I think it was probably maybe all in my head.
I think it's all in his head. So there's never a dull moment with him. I was at family reunion down at LeCane Park. There's a bunch of family hanging out, you know. I turn to my left and I look and it's this guy walking by and I was like, ooh. He was like in a Speedo, he was going swimming. So I was eyeing him up. It's like, you know, one of those moments where you start at the feet and then you go all the way up to the head and then you're like, oh my God, who is that? And I realized it was Kurt. So I was checking Kurt out. Standing in a group. He was walking up on my right.
Just make some kind of a humorous comment and see what happens.
And he was taking his broom back to the brothers.
The pressure seemed to be off. It wasn't awkward.
He basically just said, "Hey, how's it going?" And then he's like, "You guys are a little late for cleaning.
Where are your brooms, guys?"
We're gonna try tomorrow," or something like that. I just was like shocked that he actually talked to us, because he hadn't talked to me this whole time.
And then I walked away and I'm like, okay, that didn't go so bad actually.
Definitely emotional support.
I think my mom was happy that I was actually just kind of not being such an introvert. A lot less stress and pressure.
My life is more secure now. It's not so up and down, even though I know Kurt's gonna be like, "What? You're so up and down." But I'm actually a little bit more level emotionally, spiritually, financially, because I know someone else is gonna be there to help me out. So it's nice to have him around.
There you go.
It's a wrap.